and welcome to Confessions of an Everyday Cook. My name's Morgan. Today we're going to be making pot stickers. Sometimes this is called gyoza. Basically what it is a meat dumpling, generally of Asian origins. And let's go ahead and get started. Let's grab our stuff. Alright, now that we have everything set out, we're going to go ahead and begin. I am using 1 pound of ground pork. Now you can use any ground meat if you want. Do chicken for a little bit more of a leaner option. However, I like pork. So I have 1 pound of that. So usually when I do this, I eyeball the different ingredients that are going into it just because I know my personal tastes. If you're someone that is new to cooking, don't feel stressed to try to do this just because I know it takes a lot of practice. So I'm gonna try my best having to measure everything out just for you guys because you know I love you. And so we're going to measure everything out and I will leave a link in the description for the recipe we're using. So first stuff first, we're actually gonna cut some scallions. This is also called green onions. They're really versatile in the kitchen. They kind of have a mild oniony taste to them. So what you want to do is you have this and you see here on the ends how it's kind of like, I don't know what to say, gross, slimy, not appetizing, I don't know. Take the end, just kind of pinch those off on all of them, any that don't look good to you. All right, we're going to take our knife, freshly sharpened. We're going to cut off the ends here. I have my trash over here. I promise I'm not like throwing them on the ground, though my dog would like that. Put this together. We're going to line the white pieces up. We're going to start going. And remember when you're cutting to do kind of a seesaw motion and keep the end of your knife on the cutting board. And make sure your fingers are in your cloth. That way you're not going to cut any fingers. We're just going to go ahead and do that. And just kind of move your fingers along as the knife gets closer. That way you're not going to catch your finger there. Alright, and now as you near the ends, if there's any pieces that start to come off, like this little guy here, so little. Don't even worry about trying to get those perfectly cut because you'd rather not cut your finger versus getting every single little one. I'm just gonna keep going. Alrighty, she's a beauty. Yes. So these are gonna go in here. I'm actually gonna go ahead and do a couple more because we want roughly 1/4 cup of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and do more. So we got the green onions in there. Now we are going to do some red bell pepper. These I've already partially cut. I'll probably do a video later about cutting various vegetables if some of y'all find that helpful. So what we want is about 2 tablespoons of finely diced red bell pepper. So we're gonna cut it into strips and we're gonna turn it. Nice little dices. And don't worry so much about getting these perfectly little right now. We're just kind of doing a rough chop because we're going to go in and I'm going to show you a technique to actually get them a little bit smaller. You want these small enough that they are there to add just a little bit of texture, a little bit of color, but you don't want just kind of like a big bite of bell pepper. Alright, so we have my little pile here. Oh, pretty. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take my knife like this. I'm going to place my pointer finger and my thumb right here on the blade, like that. Wrap my hands around, and we're going to take this hand and put it on top. And what we're going to do is, again, that seesaw motion, and kind of go up and down your pile of peppers, just to get them a little bit smaller. How is it that this already smells good? I mean, so as you're going, just make sure that you're cleaning off your knife very carefully because pieces will stick to this. One eternity later. Alright, now we got these. I'm gonna go ahead, and I don't need all of this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put in what I need. The rest I'll save for later. You know, if I want to do omelets or something with it. I don't know. And as always, please be careful with your knives. I don't want to be responsible for you cutting your finger off. Just saying. Alright, now we're gonna add some ketchup and mustard. That is not ketchup. Bad Morgan. Ketchup. Alright, so for ketchup it's gonna be about 3 teaspoons. 1, 2. Get some mustard. Mustard, about half a teaspoon. Alright, now we're going to go in with some Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire? Sauce. Alright, and that's going to be about a tablespoon. Now we're going to put in some hoisin sauce. This is a very salty, so you don't want to put a lot in. We're going to do 1 teaspoon. Alright, we're going to get some sriracha. 2 teaspoons. And then sesame oil. And this is just a little bit of drizzle. It just gives it a nice nutty flavor. So we're just going to do a tiny bit of that. You don't want to do too much. Then we're going to go in with some fresh garlic and fresh ginger. So fresh garlic and fresh ginger are amazing, but I know sometimes it is not in your budget. So I just go ahead and get them in little containers. You can find them at the grocery store in the produce section. So that's what we're going to use today. All right. And we're going to use a half a tablespoon of garlic and a teaspoon of the ginger. A little drizzle of salt. Drizzle of onion powder. If you want to be precise, you know, salt, pepper, onion powder, probably say half a teaspoon. Not very much. And so for pepper, I'm using ground white pepper just because I like the flavor it brings to this. You can use regular black ground pepper, however you want. And then I'm also going to go in with some granulated garlic. About half a teaspoon. As you can tell, I love garlic so much. And we have 1 egg that has been slightly beaten. I'm going to pour that in. Alright, so you can use a spatula or something to stir this. I just like going in with my hands, probably because I'm a mess. So we're going to really squish that in between your fingers. That way you are getting everything mixed together properly. Oh, this smells so good. Don't eat raw meat, guys. No matter how tempting it is, don't eat it. It's bad for you. Did I put sriracha in? I think I did. Sriracha. Oh, this has been thoroughly squashed. Go wash your hands, you filthy animal. Okay. All right, so that is it for the filling. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna clean up a little bit. I'm gonna grab some wonton wrappers so that we can get folding. We're gonna now start to assemble our dumplings. So right here I got some wonton wrappers. Again, you can just get this in your produce section at the grocery store. It's a lot easier to buy them than it is to make them. I'm sure some people are fancy and definitely make them, but I can't because, you know, I'm an everyday cook. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. So we got our meat, we got our wonton wrappers, we also have some measuring spoons, as well as a small cup of water to help bind the wonton wrapper together. All right, so we take the wonton wrapper, we're gonna go ahead and use a half a tablespoon to get the meat, put that right in the middle there. All right, then grab some water and go around the edges. You don't need a ton of water, just a little bit. And then fold it however you want. There are a couple different ways to fold it. There's two that I primarily use. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ones you can look up online. So the first one, super simple. You take one corner, flip it over to the other corner, and then press down on the edges of the wonton wrapper like that. Pick it up and just make sure it is nice and sealed on the sides. There you go. You got a pot sticker. The second fold that you can kind of use, I don't know the proper name of it, but I like to call it the hugging fold because it looks like a little dumpling hugging itself, and it's just so cute. Alright, so it starts the same as the other one. So fold the corner over. Make sure that you're getting a good seal. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay it down, figure out the two longest sides, and we're going to cross them over into a nice cute little hug. Alright, we're going to put that together. I'm going to dip my finger in some water just to kind of create that seal. And now we got an adorable little dumpling hugging itself. What's cuter than that? Oh my gosh. So this is obviously a very time-consuming dinner to do by yourself. Once you do start cooking the pot stickers, it's actually a really fast process. It's just this part of stuffing and folding them that does take a really long time. But I have learned, ask for help. Kids love doing this. They love getting their hands dirty. We're making some pot stickers. We're making some pot stickers. Okay, that was enough of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking the pot stickers. So this is actually going to go really, really fast. I want to have everything set up. So I have this beautiful wok that my darling husband got for me. You can use any sort of pan you want. The biggest thing though, you do want something that has a lid. So mine has like a nice little bamboo lid I can stick right on top of my wok. So you want that. You want something to help you scoop the pot stickers out for when they're done. You want some sort of oil. I like using shortening, vegetable shortening, Crisco, whatever you want to call it. I like using that because it has a really high smoke point. What that means is that as the oil gets hot, it's not going to catch on fire as easily. So using oils such as like olive oil, which has a really low smoke point, something like that you don't want to use. With it having a low smoke point, as it gets hotter, it's more likely to burn, it's more likely to cause a fire, so you want to be really careful about which oil you're using. So I just stick with vegetable shortening. Alright, so we have Crisco, and then we have some stock. I'm using chicken stock, but you can use beef stock, you can use vegetable stock, whatever works for you. So what I'm actually doing is instead of using chicken stock, I'm going to be using chicken bouillon. And so this is really easy to control how much flavor we're putting in the stock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to about half it. So generally with bouillon, it depends on which ones you have. I get the powder version, not the cubed. Generally with the powder version, it's about a teaspoon of bouillon to a cup of water. And so what I'm going to do is about 1 teaspoon per 2 cups of water. So I have 4 cups right here, and I'm just going to do 2 teaspoons of the bouillon. Specifically with bouillon, you do want to heat up the water just a little bit. It doesn't need to be boiling. You want to heat it up enough to help dissolve the bouillon better. Because cold water, it takes a little bit longer for it to dissolve properly. So you just want to heat it up just a little. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to heat up our pan, our wok, whatever you got going. Medium, low heat. At the same time, I'm also going to heat up my oven. I have a really nice little setting on it to keep my food warm, especially when I'm making a big, my puppy! Look at him! Can we just take a moment to appreciate how cute my dog is? I mean, look at him. All right, what was I saying? Oh yes, so the oven, I like having that on so that the food stays warm because when we are making pot stickers, we're gonna be doing it in small batches. And since there's so much that I'm making right now, I have a pan with an oven safe grate on it. to place the pot stickers on. I just like to do it this way so that the pot stickers don't end up sitting on the bottom of the pan and sticking to it. Also, because of the residual moisture that is on them, I don't want them to be sitting in their own moisture so that they don't get soggy. So we're gonna have this in the oven. If you don't have the option of a keep warm setting, what I would suggest is to turn on your oven to the lowest possible setting, let it run for like 10-15 minutes, turn off your oven, and then make sure you're keeping it closed as much as possible. That way it keeps the heat in there so that your food's not gonna get cold. All right, so let's jump on in. We're gonna make pot stickers. All right, so I have this on medium-low heat. I'm gonna take a little spoonful of Crisco. This is so the pot stickers aren't going to stick to the bottom. All right, and we're gonna give that just a little bit to heat up. You wanna make sure you're not overcrowding your pan, so depending on the size of your pan, you need to adjust how many you're gonna put in here. So for me, I'm only gonna put maybe 4 or 5 in here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch these. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes. You just want the bottom to crisp up a little bit. Use your handy dandy tool to lift them up and just kind of take a peek. But you really don't wanna move these around very much. So once the bottoms are crisped up, they're nice and brown, we're gonna take about 1/3 cup of broth, quickly pour it into the pan, cover it, and turn the setting down to low. We're gonna do this quick. So you wanna make sure you're turning it down to low as the dumplings are steaming, because as the moisture is evaporating and the pan becomes drier, you wanna make sure that you're not gonna be burning your dumplings. So I like to set a timer for about 2 minutes. That way I know when to check on them. I do like to give them a nice little shake. Shake, 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 yeah. Give it a nice little shake just to release the bottoms of the dumplings. So we're gonna give that about 2 minutes. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take them out. We're gonna check on them. And then we're just gonna put them right into the oven. And we're gonna start again. So each time when I'm doing this, I like to clean out my wok each time. That way you're not getting oil or residual bouillon burning in your pan. That way you start with a clean pan and you're ready to go on to the next step. All right, this has been going about 2 minutes. Oh, yes, these are beautiful. If you do this properly, there shouldn't be that much liquid left, but that's okay. Cooking's about learning. All right, so we're gonna take this out. Be really careful with your oven. Stick them right in the oven to stay warm. And then so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the heat back up to about medium-low while I'm cleaning my pan. You don't need to go in completely with water, soap, sanitizer, all that stuff. You just wanna rinse it out really quick with water and then come back to the stove to quickly let it heat up again. We're gonna let that start heating up. Be really careful. You do want to wipe out some of the residual moisture that's in there. So wipe it out carefully with a towel, please. Please don't burn yourself. That would be unfortunate. So we're gonna let this heat up again. Again, we're gonna add a nice spoonful of oil. In my case, shortening or Crisco. And let that heat up for a couple minutes. Essentially, we're starting over. And so with your pan, you wanna make sure that it's heated up properly. Otherwise, you're not gonna get that nice, crispy bottom to the pot stickers that we're really looking for. So make sure in between the step of cleaning it and putting it back on, make sure that your pan and your oil are heated up properly before you begin the process again. Honestly, one of my favorite things to make. Doing to sit there and fold the dumplings, and then your house just smells so good. I love doing these. You know, I grew up in a family where cooking is very important, and it's something that the entire family does together. This is actually my mom's recipe that I'm using here. So essentially what we're going to do is repeat that process over and over and over again until all the pot stickers are done. Okay, these are out of the oven. I'm so excited to eat these, but I'm actually gonna make a really nice dipping sauce to go with them. So I'm gonna show you guys that real quick. But look at them, they're so pretty. We did a good job, guys. High five. For the dipping sauce, I have just a little bit of water in here. We're gonna go in with some soy sauce. I'd say probably about a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon, depending on your particular tastes. I'm gonna put some oyster sauce in here, probably about a quarter of a teaspoon. All right, we're gonna hit it with some squeezy garlic, a little bit of garlic. I got some onion powder, white pepper, little drizzle of sesame oil, and sesame seeds. All right, we're gonna mix that all together. And then we're gonna add some scallions, some green onions. About a tablespoon of those, mix it all up. Then we're gonna taste it, kind of season it to how you want it. Oh, that is so good. Mmm. They're so good. The wrappers are moist without being soggy. It's got a little bit of crispness on the bottom from where we pan fried them. Oh, these are just so good. All right, that's it. We've made pot stickers. It's been so much fun, you guys. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. Make sure to like and subscribe, as well as go check out my Instagram page. And we'll see you next time on Confessions of an Everyday Cook. Bye!